Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to make a stock price prediction for the year 2030 for Amazon stock. That's right, Amazon stock, the e-commerce giant. Now, I have Amazon stock rated as one of my top stocks to buy here in 2024. I've had it rated as a top stock to buy all year long. It's performed relatively well so far year to date, and I think the stock has a lot of room to run here for the next several years. And in this video, we're going to see just how much room it could have to go higher. So without further ado, let's take a look at Amazon's stock price prediction.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
All right, so one of the numbers I'm going to need to make Amazon's stock price prediction is the earnings per share estimate for the year 2025, and I have that here at $5.19. This is what Wall Street analysts that are following Amazon stock, this is what they think the e-commerce giant will report in earnings per share in 2025. Of course, nobody knows the future for certain. This is just among the Wall Street analysts that are following Amazon stock. This is their forecast for where they think Amazon's earnings per share could be in 2025. Following Amazon, they think its earnings per share will rise by 16% per year over the next 5 years. Additionally, I need Amazon's current share price. As of this recording, Amazon's stock price is $180.73. And finally, I need Amazon's forward price to earnings ratio, and as of this recording, is trading at a forward PE of 33.47. All right, so now that we've got all those estimates, we can begin our stock price prediction for Amazon stock in 2030, I should say. So if you look at the $5.19 earnings per share for Amazon in 2025, and we apply the 16% growth rate, you'll come up with an earnings per share for Amazon in the year 2031 at $12.64. Now you might say, wait a minute, Professor, you're looking at earnings per share in 2031, not in 2030. Why are you doing that when you're trying to get the price target for 2030? That's a good question. The reason why we do that is because when we're using the forward PE ratio, we need the year ahead earnings per share for whatever year we're looking at a price target. So if I'm looking at a price target for the year 2030, I need the earnings per share for 2031. If I was looking at the year 2040, I would need the earnings per share for the year 2041. Always 1 year ahead when we're using the forward 1 year price to earnings ratio. So that's why I have that number here. And I applied this 16% growth rate for 6 years on this $5.19 earnings per share estimate to come up with the $12.64 earnings per share for 2031. Now, if Amazon's forward PE ratio remains the same and the earnings per share is on its way to hit this target, then Amazon's stock price could reach $417 per share by the year 2030. And if you're paying attention, that's a significant increase from where it's at today, currently trading at $180 per share. So that would be a more than doubling of Amazon's stock price in about 6 years' time, a solid return on investment. But what if its forward PE was to fall to 30? Well, then its stock price could increase to $379 per share, still a robust increase, a more than doubling from where it is today. If the forward PE were to fall more significantly to 25, then the stock price could rise to $316 per share. And if the PE were to fall to 20, then the stock price could rise to $252 per share, a less than 50% rate of return over the next 6 years. And that would be, I would say, a little bit disappointing, but it wouldn't be devastating. You would still see your wealth increase for investing in Amazon stock. It wouldn't be as much of an increase as you would like, considering the risk you're taking with investing in Amazon stock versus maybe investing in a less riskier stock, or maybe investing in a super safe government bond where you can get a rate of return around 5% versus investing in Amazon stock. You want a rate of return that compensates you for taking that risk. So given all of these scenarios, which one do I think is the base case scenario? What do I think is most likely for Amazon stock in 2030? Well, I think the forward price to earnings ratio stays roughly around where it is. I don't think Amazon's forward PE ratio falls all that much. I think the company has such a large total addressable market that even if it were to grow at this earnings per share rate for the next 6 years, I think the company would still have growth opportunities ahead. The retailing industry is a several $1 trillion industry. Amazon is addressing not only the retailing industry, but also the cloud services segment. It's also addressing the advertising industry, which is another $1 trillion industry that Amazon is in. And so you can see all of the opportunities across the board here for Amazon. It's also in the grocery business. That's in a several $1 trillion industry. And so the growth runway for Amazon is so large that it can continue growing at this double-digit rate for several years more into the future. So it's not as if it's going to grow at this rate for the next 5 years and it's going to hit a ceiling. So I don't think that is going to happen for Amazon. So my base case for where I think Amazon stock price will be by the year 2030 is somewhere around $400 per share and $440 per share. That's where I think it's the most likely outcome for Amazon stock price in 2030. That's more than doubling from where Amazon stock price is today. Now, it could go even higher than that. Of course, there's a lot more upside for Amazon stock, given all of the opportunities I just highlighted earlier. But it can also go lower than that. It's not certain that Amazon stock price is going to be higher in the year 2030 just because I haven't modeled any scenarios that have Amazon stock going lower. Now, if I was to do that, I could perhaps lower this PE ratio to 10. And if I was to lower it to 10, then you'd have Amazon stock price falling to $126 per share in 2030, a scenario that I think is unlikely, but certainly it's a non-zero chance that this could happen. If Amazon's growth were to slow down seriously in the single digits for several years, then you better be sure that investors would not be willing to pay a forward price to earnings in the 20s or 30s for a company like Amazon that's only growing in the single digits for several years, because Amazon is a very capital intensive business. And for a business with this type of capital intensity, a growth rate of just in the low single digits, that's not an attractive investment. The risk versus reward wouldn't be worthwhile. And so you would get a forward price to earnings of considerably lower than where it is today. So that's a likely scenario. It's a non-zero chance. And so you have to consider that in your decision-making process, that it could perhaps go down. But for my base case, my most likely scenario, I would say, is a stock price of between $400 and $440 per share by 2030. Before I let you go, let me tell you about the greatest deal on YouTube. With just a click of a button, you can get free financial analysis from a professor with decades of investing experience. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.